On this week's show, Lizzo takes over Peloton and crashes the system.
And Peloton opens their website to book classes in person for their grand opening in August, but causes a lot of headaches and frustrations in the process. And much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 91 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, joined as always by my co-host, Amanda Siegel. Hey now, Amanda.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
Good. Another week. Summer, it's hot as hell pretty much everywhere in the States, at least.
Well, the UK have had a complete scorcher this past week, too. I mean, they were just beside themselves. It was so hot in the UK. Yeah.
Unseasonably warm. But we're all feeling it.
Hot. So. Yeah. And you're not gonna like pass over. We're not gonna dedicate too much time because we did a whole live, which was very well attended on Sunday, about Chris and my experience at PSNY. But yikes, John, that place is epic.
It's pretty nice right? Spread, huh? Pretty nice compared to it makes the old cycling studio look like a broom closet.
I'm telling you, I got to tell you, I think they've done a remarkable job in accommodating members and doing such a fantastic job. So if any of you guys missed the first live appearance of Chris Lewis, Pelo Buddy extraordinaire, you guys can jump on Instagram and get to watch the live. And we kind of went through literally from start to finish our experience at PSNY last Friday. It was truly an incredible day. And Chris and I got so lucky because we got to really spend the whole day there. I'll be back there this coming Friday, so I'm excited to be back. We'll talk more about all the ups and downs that they've been experiencing, but it was an amazing experience. So if any of you guys have not had a chance to listen to the live, I encourage you guys to jump on and hear all about our experience, and we'll talk about it within the show. I'll add some tidbits as well. But folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platform. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Yeah, and if you want to just listen, we're on all traditional podcast platforms. Search for Pelo Buddy TV, click subscribe, hit notifications so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. We love reading. I think we have a really nice review that we just recently received that we're going to read. But we always appreciate your feedback, especially on how we can improve the show. And we really appreciate your constructive feedback.
Yeah, we did. John. We got a review from Kathy 1923 via Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, great podcast. They said this podcast is what gets me through going to work Monday morning. Love hearing the Pelo news and hearing about some new classes I probably wouldn't otherwise take. So those picks of the week are definitely well received by folks that watch or listen to the show. So I'm really pleased. Thank you so much, Kathy 1923, for taking the time to send us a review. And definitely, please let us know. It was funny because I looked back at some old reviews and how folks had said that the sound was so terrible. And I think we've got it. I think we kind of getting there. We're getting there. It seems like everything
the sound is terrible.
Nice and smoothly.
Amanda, we don't need to hear about your Tesla and your extra home.
Right. Or the fact that I repeat myself. It's interesting. I mean, being a D-list showbiz person can be quite, damaging. Anyway, folks, finally, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Pelo Buddy. Follow us on all of those platforms so that you never miss anything. And I guess now, John, let's get on with the show.
All right.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right. So I think it is safe to say that the top story for this week has to be the fact that Lizzo herself joined Robin Arzon and Jess Sims's 2-for-1 ride last Friday, July the 15th. The Lizzo Artist Series was one that had been highly requested. And with a last minute drop of the series on Thursday, the 14th, there was already quite a buzz. As we all know, Cody was originally supposed to join Robin, but due to still being under the weather, Jess graciously subbed and joined Robin on the bike. I have to say, John, it was pretty impressive how within less than 24 hours, she was so unbelievably prepared for something so iconic. There was no question that if she had any nerves, she hid them. She was a true superstar on that. And in fact, truthfully, between you and me, I think she kind of stole the show. I think she had everybody. I mean, just what she had said in the ride, to Lizzo, her words. I just thought Jess absolutely killed it. But of course, having been in the studio on Friday, we actually had learned that while Robin was decked out in Liz's own apparel from Yeti, Jess clearly would not have been prepared. But a Peloton staffer came to the rescue as she had just bought the blue outfit that Jess was wearing and proceeded to offer for her to wear it on Friday. So that was kind of a little bit of insider information after chatting with the absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to give her a shout out because she was so lovely to both Chris and I, Jen Carter. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful, amazing woman. She spent so much time chatting to us. And of course, she was just buzzing. She wished she could have told us beforehand, but we didn't know. We just knew as everybody else did. But there was definitely a ton of buzz. I mean, Chris said to me afterwards, there were more cameras. There were people kind of on, cameras with sticks walking around, filming people. There was definitely a buzz. And the way that they did everything was very different. So with all the other classes, you kind of had to get in there half an hour beforehand. They had said, you could bring in your phones, you could take pictures, you could take video until the class started. They made it very clear that there was no pictures or cameras or phones allowed in the studio for this particular one. And they only let everybody in just 10 minutes before. So, again, we didn't know why. We just thought maybe it was Jess, preparing or getting ready, and nobody had any clue. But it was, it was just amazing, the adrenaline that was going on. And of course, all the staff knew. So I can only imagine what they must have been feeling without having to share with all of us, just the lay people that were kind of standing around. So, it was definitely clear Lizzo being there was huge. But as I said, seeing the frenzy, and then when the service crashed, and then proceeded to disrupt the entire rest of the day, was hysterical to watch. I mean, they were so flustered because nobody anticipated that this was going to happen. And Chris and I were kind of looking at each other because the numbers were just increasing. It went from 10,000 to 15,000 to 25,000, people that were on for a live ride. And I think other than Thanksgiving, I don't believe there's ever been that many people. And on a Friday at noon, I mean, Thanksgiving, everybody's around and everybody's able to,
everybody's off from work,
do what they want because everyone's off. But on a Friday at noon, so clearly, they were not anticipating that this was going to happen. And watching that happen firsthand was actually quite humorous. And it did impact the rest of the day. So what we ended up seeing was that the class for Marcel, which was her Lizzo run, had to get pushed. So she was pushed, and then so was Mariana's Lizzo yoga flow that she had. So I don't know if Lizzo was planning on coming into Marcel's run or not. They were really back to back, so she could quite have easily. But once they decided to go ahead and obviously push it because they couldn't stream it live, she must have left. all done underground. We never got to see her in the main studio. She came in, came out. A friend did tell me though that there was heightened security on the outside of the building, but because we were all inside, we were completely unaware. I mean, we had no idea what was going on outside of Peloton. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience, John, to have known that she was there, to have had the big girls, to have seen the frenzy. Kudos to Peloton for putting that one off, because I think that was mega.
Were you just sitting in the lounge area watching on one of the big TVs as it was happening?
So we were right outside Studio One. And
in that middle level.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, Drew was there, Robin Arzon's husband, and we had been chatting to him actually beforehand. And of course, he also, you could see he was very composed. He was standing around with some people, and then they let him go in first. The only negative we shared with Peloton was that whilst we could see it on the screen, we wished that they were broadcasting the volume, because we couldn't. So a couple people were able to get it on their phones, but you couldn't hear what was really going on inside the studio. You could hear the excitement, but I wish they had broadcasted it. They just had the regular, music that they play in the studio. So that was something that I wish that they had done, had broadcasted that. But the vibe outside, and of course, I made it into that one Peloton reel because there were a couple of us moms of Peloton, and Energizer Jamie, Chris, and myself were literally all standing right outside the door. And I guess as everybody came out, the intern that was filming, scanned over to us, and you see me, and in fact, it's my thumbnail now because I was so excited, like me going yay, and it made it into the one Peloton reel. So yeah, I mean, whilst we would have loved to have been in that class, no question, you still had the impact of the energy and the adrenaline and the frenzy that was going on, regardless of being inside or not. So it was tons of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun ride. Jackie and I did it live, and I know a lot of people got shut out of the ride. They couldn't get in it at home on their bike. So we were fortunate we didn't have any problems getting logged out or getting it freezing up on us. But yeah, the leaderboard was very strange. It took a long time to load, and then it wasn't showing anybody's ranking or your output along there next to your rank. So I just threw it, it was just a fun ride. They weren't really calling out any resistance or numbers. So it was a good ride just to let that aspect go and just, pedal away at your own pace.
Correct.
Yeah. So it was fun that was fun that
interesting. It was interesting though, because I think people had said also that there was that black screen. You couldn't see them. You could hear Robin and Jess speaking, I guess, but you couldn't see them. Did that happen to you in the pre-show, like when they started?
I didn't notice. I got there. I think I joined the pre-show pretty late.
Okay.
I recorded a couple minutes of it, but I didn't get there super early where it just says Peloton Studios, New York.
Got it.
So the mic was probably open before they turned on the video, you're saying, it sounds like?
Correct. That's what had happened. The mics were open and we couldn't see. And then, so there was definitely glitching even on our side. We could sense that things weren't going quite so smoothly. But they made it work. Yeah. They made it work. And all hats off to them. I think that was a huge accomplishment.
Pretty cool. Yeah. My friend Nicole, Nikki Pellos for Pizza, who's very critical, she hated on that Lizzo ride and said the real ride of that day was Ben's 30-minute dance hits ride. She said that was the real, and she even posted it in her story. I reshared it. But she was,
that. Yeah. All right. Well, there'll be Lizzo haters. There were no Lizzo haters.
There's something for everyone
on our side. Yeah. Exactly. We've always said that. That there's something for everyone.
But now that you've been in the studio, some news this past Monday, after a whole lot of anticipation of when Peloton would announce their full grand opening for the studios. They finally announced it. It would be opening to the public August 19th. So on Monday, the 18th, the studio website went live to book classes for that weekend, and they were complimentary for the opening weekend. The problem was, and I know you have much to share about this, but the servers crashed. There's just so much traffic, people trying to book classes, it giving you getting to a screen where it looked like you had successfully booked it, but then it didn't. I know people were spending hours, frantically trying to book rides and different workouts at the studios, I think in London and New York that day. But that same weekend also, Peloton's going to be hosting their 2022 All for One Music Festival. So they sent an email to members, shared the news in a tweet. And so that'll also be fun to look for. I know we had mentioned some glitches where they had put out some alternate subtitles for a couple classes on a different ride accidentally. So we know there's going to be some John Mayer, Florence and the Machine themed All for One classes in there. But yeah, so the
I
studio.
gotta tell you, John, I'm the first to say that, I am a Peloton diehard. You very rarely hear me say anything negative about Peloton. That was embarrassing. Monday was embarrassing. The fact that this happened was truly inexcusable. You either be prepared or you don't do it. And maybe they didn't anticipate it. And I mean, even after what they experienced on Friday, having seen what had happened from an IT perspective, because I was one of the idiots that sat at my computer literally for 7 hours. I was on the bike when I found out that it was opening. It was at 11:15 Eastern time on Monday morning. I had an amazing stack prepared and jumped off because, I wanted to do it. And it was so frustrating. It was so irritating. And you became addicted to it because you figured, it got to the point, there were a group of us. So I'm in a group of girls that I had met, in fact, at the studio on Friday that I'm now in a group chat with, and we were messaging each other back and forth. And, it almost got to the point where you wanted to challenge yourself to get into a goddamn class. It was ridiculous. And look, I was one of the fortunate ones. I did get into a class, and I was excited. I would have loved to have gotten into something else because I had just done yoga with Mariana, but I did get into a yoga class with Mariana on the 12th. I could not get in for All for One for that weekend, but it was so frustrating. And, people wasted an entire day, and even through the night, you couldn't do it. And the error messages that we were all getting were, you don't have enough credits, you have too many credits, there's an error here, you'd go back. You literally had to sit pressing refresh, continuously. I eventually gave up. I even tried on Mark's account. I tried on my son's account just to see that maybe it was me, maybe because I had gotten into a class, I couldn't get into another weekend. I did like the fact that you could only get into one class each day. So there was that limit. So if you were booking for the 12th, you could only get in, or for the 5th or for the 12th, you could only get into one class. And All for One as well. I believe that you could only get into one class. They just allowed you one pass. But even with the one pass, I couldn't even get in for All for One. So I was desperately trying to get in for that Friday the 19th, and I couldn't. So yeah, I think that really was push-up. And we got some of the emails, and they weren't even coming out. The frustrating thing was they shared this reel, everybody got excited, everybody got their email, and then they didn't come back out until almost yesterday to say, we're really sorry, due to high, demand, we weren't able to fulfill your request, et cetera, et cetera. But on Monday, there should have been somebody there the minute this was going on, because everybody was calling the studio. People were calling customer service. People were logging on and to different sites to try and get somebody, and they didn't come out and say anything. And that I felt was just really poor business. I was not happy. So Yep. Every now and again, I will express how things, aren't perfect in the Peloton world. And this was for sure one of them. But as you spoke about it, we are going to experience this All for One music festival, which I think is going to be fantastic. We don't know who's going to be on there yet, other than the leak that we heard about John Mayer, which you were so excited about.
Yeah. Was it a John Mayer? I think it was a John Mayer cool down we're going to be getting.
At least, I'm sure there may even be, may even be more of that. And it'll be the first time that we'll see members in these All for One classes. So from what I understand, it's pretty much going to be every instructor that will get something, so that it'll go across the platform in every modality. And, for those of you that were successful enough to have reserved a spot for the 19th, 20th, or 21st, kudos to you, because I'm sure it's going to be fantastic in the studio. If I got a little piece of what the preview classes, preview days were like, having gotten our little goodie bag and the, stuff that they had in the studio for us, I can only imagine that the All for One will be epic. So I am disappointed that I wasn't able to get in, but there's going to be plenty of opportunity to get back to the studio and be able to take rides, down the road. One thing I did want to just kind of reiterate. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say before we moved on to the next topic, if we're segueing.
I was just going to say about the cost.
The studio, yeah, I saw that too. The studio will be open to members in classes Friday through Sunday, and then Monday through Thursday it'll be closed to the public. So they'll be recording, coach to camera and doing live content like they always have been doing all along. But yeah, and classes after that opening weekend, which were complimentary, will be $35 a class, which I think that sounds about right. What it used to be a couple of years ago.
Correct, and I believe it's $25, maybe $25 for the UK. £25, I think. That's kind of what I had heard. Just interesting because I spoke about it. I spoke about it in the live with Chris, John, but just to share with those folks that don't want to listen to the hour live. One of the things, and we were chatting with Spencer, who is one of the managers over at the, at PSNY, and he was saying that what they've decided to do with this only opening on the weekend is clearly what we've said on the show for the last few weeks, is that so many members don't want to see people in classes. And it was interesting because I just had a friend who said to me that she took Dennis's ride because I had been in it, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But she said, I only took it because I knew you were in it, but I hate doing classes with members in there. And I'm like, really? She goes, remember, I'm a pandemic rider. I only know from not having members in the classes. So it's funny because for us, it's so fun. But so it is interesting. And this is a girl that I speak to often and know really well, and she's great. She just doesn't, it was funny to actually know somebody that doesn't like having members in there. So what Spencer had said was they really do want to make it into an experience. They want to make those weekends for folks to come in and experience it, kind of like, but Mom Erica says, Disney World, in, making it an attraction, coming in and enjoying a day and enjoying the studio, as opposed to having it as a gym for New Yorkers like they used to, where folks could come in before work, after work,
drop in.
That concept. I think they've just decided to shelve and make it into, hence hiring a concierge type person to help folks with hotel reservations and travel stuff and booking and that type of thing. And then of course, a big thing is what he said is to do group rides, HRI stuff where groups are coming in for an instructor that they all are part of, whether it be Rock Solid or Boo Crew or whatever, and have kind of a home rider invasion type thing, which I think is a cool concept.
Yeah, definitely. No, that sounds good. It's all more about, centered around the member experience. So it's nice with the much bigger, fancier space that they now have that ability. So
to do that. Exactly.
It'll be cool. I know I'm not, I didn't try at all to book any classes. I was just there a couple weeks ago, and I was always planning on going maybe a couple months after the grand opening just to wait for things to settle down, because I'm sure things will be crazy there for a while every weekend. So I just figured I'd avoid the insanity and just hang back, and hopefully maybe in the fall I could go back for another visit and go crazy, doing a bunch of classes every day for the weekend.
Look, I'm fortunate. For me, it's a 3.5, 4 hour drive. I have my daughter there. I happen to have Mark has a meeting in New York on Thursday. So I'm like, all right, I'm coming. I got into the class on Friday for next week. So, I was going to do that. My daughter's moving out of her apartment to a new one. I have to go back to New York. So I got in for the 12th. So I've had a reason to go to New York. And the fact that I got into the studio was like kind of the icing on the cake for me, which was really nice. But
yeah, so nice.
Yeah, but I can understand. I mean, there's no question that I think once things quieten down, it's going to be a much more pleasurable experience.
Yeah, and I'm fine with waiting. I got my little taste of the new studio, even though I didn't do a ride. I got a little taste, but it was enough to tide me over now. So I can wait. I can wait out a little longer. It's been almost 2.5 years. I can wait a little bit more. So
got it.
Moving on, we have a new Broadway series. So Peloton's continuing that with classes featuring the music of legendary British composer Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's a composer behind some of the most famous musicals in the world, including Phantom of the Opera, one of my favorites, Cats, Jesus Christ Superstar. This is the 6th installment of the Peloton Broadway series, which first launched back in 2020. And classes launched this past Wednesday, the 20th. There were classes that include six classes across 4 different modalities. So there's 3 rides, 2 in English, 1 in German. There was a run in German, a yoga flow, a walk. We've got the full complete list on pelobuddy.com. I know I took the 20-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber ride in German with Benny Adami, which was super fun. There was also a ride in English with Sam Yo. That was a 30-minute ride. Maddie did the walk, the 30-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber walk. But I had a great time. It was Benny was he was very, in his dramatic, he had a short sleeve button down white shirt with a little black bow tie. And that was a super fun ride. And he had some Starlight Express. He had some, I don't know if he had Jesus, I think he probably had Jesus Christ Superstar, but he had some Phantom of the Opera. Which Phantom doesn't really, it didn't really get much love on past Broadway series classes. They always kind of skipped, maybe it was just too dramatic of music, or it wasn't as upbeat, like a lot of the other music that they use for different classes. But it was fun. I don't know if you got a chance to do any of them.
I haven't. I'm dying to do it. In fact, it's definitely on the cards for the weekend. Definitely want to get to it. I just hadn't had a chance to.
It was fun though. The official Phantom of the Opera Instagram page was resharing a lot of stories that people tagged them in, including Benny, and they reposted some of mine where I was singing. So that was fun. I
loved that. I saw that they did that, and that was so cool. That was very cool.
They really embraced it and promoted a lot of the series on their own page.
They did. They had a list of everything on there as well. They had a list of all the classes on there, which I thought was really cool. It was very cool.
Super cool.
All right. Well, for those of you that love doing barre classes, Peloton has actually released a new collection called Build Your Barre, featuring 8 new classes taught by Hannah Corbin and Ally Love. It was quite interesting, though, because in the promo, that intern that may not have their job any longer actually tagged it as Hannah Frankson. But it is Hannah Corbin. It is Hannah. It's an innocent mistake, intern. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll be fine. But Hannah Corbin and Ally Love, as we know, have done barre in the past, and they are the ones teaching this new group of classes. They range between 5 and 15 minutes. And in the description, Peloton actually encouraged members to use the classes as an addition to any stack. So it's a nice way of being able, I think they're trying to get them out there, trying to get folks to do more of them. And they're basically saying to you, you just can do a 5-minute or a 10-minute and add it to whatever you're doing for that day. They can be found under the collections tab. And Ally had in fact shared on her own Instagram, about the collection. And yeah, I guess it's just another way, for folks to work out. I have not attempted barre, and my good friend Tracy McCann, Atomic Blonde One, swears by it. She's been away this week, and she said she's literally been doing them in the hotel room every day, and she loves them. And she says they're so hard. She says they're not easy classes. So I guess Peloton had teased about it back in July in their workouts to watch email. They had put it in there, I think, from July 6th. So we knew that they were coming, and I think they're definitely trying to promote these barre classes more and have folks do them. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I've taken Pure Barre classes and Barre Method, which are studio-based barre franchises. Because Jackie used to be Jackie was a Pure Barre instructor for many years when we lived in Austin.
Wow.
But I can attest it is a very hard workout because it's, those little small movements that you do with, with the ballet bar. I don't know what kind of equipment they use for the classes, but Jackie did them. She hasn't really done them. She took them a while ago when they first came out with Ally, and she said they weren't that hard, but I'm sure they've made a lot of updates since then. But it is a tough workout. Definitely, you feel the burn and the shake.
All right. Well, I guess I should definitely try it. Incorporate it in this new strength regime that I've got going.
Yeah, I can throw a 5-minute in there. I mean, I'm probably not going to do it, but let me know.
At least you're honest.
I'm just keeping it real. So it's looking like Toon Day is going to be teaching strength, or at least one class that we've spotted on the upcoming schedule for Friday, August 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Though the official Peloton schedule does not yet show the date, it is visible on the studio booking site that launched on July 18th. But the description of the class, it doesn't give any hints as to what it might be. It only contains, Toon Day's name, the modality, and the length. But this would be Toon Day's first live long-form strength class available outside her Arms with Toon Day program that launched earlier this year, which Peloton first announced at Homecoming. That was made exclusively first to the Peloton Guide in May before rolling out to all members earlier this month. So I know Toon Day's got some really hard arms classes, so I'm sure this one would be a real challenging burner if she does.
I think she'd be brilliant. I got to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, her arm workouts, everybody talks about them. So it definitely would make sense that she would be added to the strength roster. So I hope that is true. I hope that may be her debut at the All for One weekend, and then have her on the roster more often, because, everybody talks about how hard her workouts are and how good they are and well structured. So I hope
everyone's always so envious of how ripped her arms are too.
Insane. I mean, she has arms that crazy arms. Well, talking about strength, it seems that the strength studio was not going to be left out. We had reported last week that there were new platforms in the bike and tread studios that were illuminated. And now it looks like the strength studio also has an illuminated platform. So I haven't done a new strength class yet. I think we saw it on this past Thursday. But I haven't taken a live strength class yet since they've done that. But that makes sense to have especially with folks in the class as well. And if you have the instructor elevated, that probably does make sense to have the platform. So we saw that as something new.
Yeah, nice little. I like the sort of the lighting, the border lighting that they have. It just makes it look a little cleaner, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I know Daniel was super excited when he was back last week teaching his first boot camp back. He was all excited about the stage and the platform that he was on. So he was definitely pumped up for that.
Too funny.
There has been a slight update for some folks to the user interface on the bike and tread. So this past week, a lot of members had discovered that the display on their bike and tread tablets had been updated a little bit, as well as also having an extra feedback option at the end of the class. This doesn't seem to be rolling out to that many people. I haven't noticed it yet. But the new interface, it moves the speed and distance displays to the left of the cadence meter, and the total output and calories displays to the right of the resistance meter. So prior to that, it was just kind of in the footer of your tablet. It was at the very bottom, kind of in black across the bottom. Just a minor tweak, but we always get a heads up on little minor changes or notice little things here and there. And then also an interesting thing at the end of the class, there's a new feedback screen for some folks that have noticed it. You still have to click into the feedback section to sort of leave your rating, to select, the number of stars and thumbs up, thumbs down. But there's also the addition of a question that asks, did you find the language explicit? And then the responses that you can choose from are not explicit, explicit, very explicit. So maybe they're going to update their explicit rating. If you want like a PG-13 explicit class, or if you want a super ratchet class, say with Alex Toussaint or Cody, because they let the explicitives, or Jen Sherman, right. You have a good chance of at least one F-bomb in a Jen Sherman class. So that was interesting. So some different feedback options there. And then we also had a new commercial that seems to be very widely accepted, in its humor, from actor. Most people will know him from Law and Order, SVU, and Law and Order Organized Crime, actor Christopher Maloney. He plays a member working out on the app, in the nude though, completely in the buff. And it's funny because they sort of censor his area. He's probably got like some nude underwear on underneath, but they put that blur image over, the crotch and the butt region throughout the whole commercial. But it's pretty funny. It's just over a 1 minute spot. It's called Such a Great App. And it features Maloney using the Peloton app, while nude. And though the Peloton bike and tread are shown in the background at different times, the focus of the spot is on the use of the app. Maloney starts with strength training. He's also shown doing some HIIT cardio, some yoga, some meditation, stretching, and outdoor running content. But the spot ends with the tagline, in the Peloton community, users are represented by two separate yet equally motivated groups, those who wear pants and Christopher Maloney. And the ad appears to have been created by Ryan Reynolds' advertising company called Maximum Effort. They shared the ad on their social media channels as well when Peloton rolled it out all over across their channels. His company is the same one who created the Peloton Sex in the City parody commercial back in December, as the ad for his Aviator, as well as the ad that he created for his Aviator gin brand, that featured the Peloton wife, who was played by Monica Ruiz, from the 2019 holiday ad that received so much backlash. But Christopher Maloney had previously discussed in interviews that he really does like to work out naked in his own gym at home. And most folks, like I said, know him from Law and Order, SVU. I know him from the show that I used to love on HBO, which was super violent, called Oz, which he was naked in that show. There was a lot of male nudity in that show, but he would get naked in that show a lot as well. I was a big fan of him before SVU. It was actually from the same creator that created SVU that did Oz.
That's too funny. I did read though about him working out in the nude, and I'm like, why? Why would you want to work out in the nude? That could be, I don't know. It's like just uncomfortable. But okay, to each his own. To each his own. And
I'm not one to
moving
judge.
moving right along. Peloton actually had announced on LinkedIn this past week that they now have 15 new corporate wellness clients that they've added to their roster of groups and companies that they work with. They are AARP, Aiken Gump, Strauss Hauer, and Felt LLP, Ben & Jerry's. So if you're eating too much ice cream and you're working for Ben & Jerry's, you can now use the Peloton app to help facilitate your weight gain from the ice cream. Digitus Health, Dropbox, Goodwin, Namely, and NASDAQ, Formative, RK&K, S&P, USB, Vice Media, Vitamix, and Volvo Group. Peloton said that this is their way to help build communities that supports, and I like this, mental and physical well-being, especially within these great organizations. So I love the fact that there's so many companies out there now that are utilizing, and pushing their employees to have healthy lives, whether it be, on the bike, on the tread, or just using the app for yoga, meditation, strength, etc. I really like that.
I know. I wish my company was one of the mentioned ones there, so I could get some sort of little, stipend. A lot of companies, they cover like the cost of your subscription or a portion of it, or certain healthcare providers. So that would have been nice. So I'm always checking on that.
Looking for that.
And this next update, this next story is for our Canadian members. So all you Canadians up there, up north, listen up to this one, because it's regarding the referral program. Right now, Peloton is promoting a special offer for Canadian members that doubles the referral code reward through the 31st of July, Sunday. They sent an email to some Canadian members explaining the offer in more detail and said, starting now through the 31st, the Peloton referral rewards will be doubled for our Canadian members only. So when your friend buys a Peloton bike, Bike Plus, or Tread using your referral code, you'll get $250 off your next Peloton apparel purchase. Plus, they'll receive $250 off accessories. The same restrictions around the referral code still apply. It can only be used on a single Peloton apparel purchase. So, if you have a portion left, you lose that. So you got to use it all or you lose it. It'll expire. The code will expire after 6 months, and it can only be used. It can be used on sale items, but cannot be combined with other offers or promotions. And as we've covered in recent episodes, Peloton has made some major changes to the referral program over the past months, which received mostly negative, or if not all negative feedback, regarding limiting the ability to share referral codes to only one account holder. Also, you can only get 6 referrals in a calendar year. It used to be 12, so they crossed that in half, cut that in half. It did not affect Peloton app users, though. They still have not been, eligible for the referral program since May of 2019. But yeah, if you're in Canada, a Canadian member, jump on that. It's a juicy double your referral program there. And it's kind of random. I don't know why.
Very random.
Are they just trying to boost Canadian sales? Do you think it's
I think so. I think it must be. I think people just aren't using their codes, or because interestingly enough, I actually I was reading the story, preparing for the show, and a friend in the UK reached out and said, "Hey, you don't have any more referral codes, do you? I'm finally getting ready to buy a bike." And of course I don't. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And one of my best friends lives in Toronto, and I immediately reached out to her and I said, "Hey, if you've got any referral codes left, let me know, because I have." So I connected the two of them, and at least she'll be able to utilize it. And she was very appreciative. But I think it's a great offer. She didn't know about it. She had no idea. So she was like, I said, well, watch the show Sunday. You'll hear all about it. But it was a great offer. Great offer.
So one thing I didn't read. So one thing I just wanted to clarify that I wasn't sure of. The person buying the bike, do they have to be in Canada, or does that not matter?
I don't think it matters. And I think they will probably I would assume that they would prorate it for the dollar amount or pounds, since they're, you know what, I'm saying that quite firmly, and I don't even know if I'm correct in my answer. I would assume that it didn't matter because it's never mattered up till this point. You could give your referral codes to anybody. I think it's both. Oh,
so it just has to be
a control room are saying that they think that it is both in Canada, but aren't sure. So I guess, you know what, my friend will know soon enough. I'll find out from him if he was able to use the code or not.
Because I figured the purchaser would have to be in Canada because they want to boost sales in Canada. So they want the delivery to be to a new Canadian member somewhere in Canada.
Good point.
But I was curious. I didn't see anything in the details about that, but okay.
Well, I'll report back. Next week. I'll reach out to him and find out whether he was able to use, being in the UK, if he was able to use her referral code from Canada. And control room are saying that they didn't explicitly say that. Yeah, moving on, because we have lots of picks of the week. So let's move on. Instructor in the news. And I'm going to go ahead and start. Our first story this week is about the unstoppable Logan Aldridge. And he is just everywhere. He is a force to be reckoned with. And just this past week, he actually appeared on the Today Show. He got to show the anchors how even folks with disabilities are able to adapt and train just as hard. And what was interesting that Logan had said was he was actually on the Today Show when he had his accident. So for folks that aren't familiar with what actually happened, 13. So he's 13 now.
I thought he was, I guess he appeared maybe a couple years after it happened. I guess it was 16 when they did a profile on him. Okay, yeah.
Correct. So he shared his story, and truthfully, even having reported on him, I must have forgotten that this was the reason, but he had lost his arm in a wakeboarding accident and went on, he always said he was a little bit of a daredevil, clearly, and how traumatic to have gone through this, but he never let it get him down. And it was pretty amazing to see how he rose to the occasion and has become this, insanely positive force out there for folks that need adaptive training, and how he's obviously now joined Peloton as an adaptive trainer. And he showed the anchors on the show what he needed to do. But he said even, after having his arm amputated, it was not going to let him down. He went on to compete in wakeboarding contests after that and competitions after that. And then he did go on to show some exercises on the floor. I've only done 2 strength workouts with him, and they're hard. They're not easy. And I look at him thinking, geez, if he can do it with one arm, I can clearly do it with 2. So I got to get my shit together and make sure that I'm, doing it properly. But very proud of him. And I think the interview went really well. And the the anchors were quite impressed by him. So huge shout out to Logan.
He also posted on his Instagram last week the segment when he was on the Today Show as a 16-year-old, and they showed him how he's adapted to only having one arm. And he was playing on his high school lacrosse team with one arm, and they still said he scored 50 plus goals that season. And then I think he plays golf right now currently, at 32 years old, 32 plus, still teeing off with one arm, he's really completely adapted to still do. It really has not set him back at all. And I haven't met him, but when I was in New York for the Boo Crew HRI meetup, the Boo Crew was out there stalking the studio. They had their special shirts that they had made for the weekend, and Logan was either coming out or coming in. He was such a good sport, hanging out with them, taking pictures. They gave him a Boo Crew HRI shirt. He immediately put it on, and he posed in the big group photo with them in front of the studio and laid down on the pavement. So he just seems like a super Nice guy, really, friendly personality. So I'm looking forward to doing one of his classes when I make it back there to the studio.
Yeah, no, he's definitely fun. I mean, there's no question. He's actually intimidating. I got to tell you, I'm intimidated by him because I think that for someone like that who just can do what he does with such an amazing big smile on his face is pretty awesome. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Well,
all right,
we
next.
had Matty Majacomo. He was recently interviewed by BroadwayWorld.com to talk all about this new Broadway series, the Andrew Lloyd Webber Artist Series. And he did, a 30-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber walk this past week that he featured music from Phantom of the Opera, School of Rock, Song and Dance, Jesus Christ Superstar, Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Cats, Evita, just to name a few, Sunset Boulevard. But they were asking him, questions about being a fan of Broadway, which he is a huge fan of and is pretty much caught up on all the current musicals out on Broadway as of right now. But they also asked him about, having live members back in the studio, how excited he was and how, for the past 2+ years, he's been teaching to an empty room, and he can imagine it was very similar to what it was like for Broadway, being shuttered for so long during the pandemic. But they also asked him, did you ever do theater growing up? What roles did you play? What productions were you in? And obviously, Matty, being Matty, if you know anything about him or his personality, of course he was in theater, but he initially was in the cross-country team, he said, at LaSalle Academy in Providence, Rhode Island. And after 2 weeks, he dropped out of that and became a lifelong drama club geek. He said he performed in all the classic drama club fare, including Arsenic and Old Lace, Grease, Once Upon a Mattress, and one of his favorites, he said, was Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Talked about the first musical he ever saw when he was a boy 30 years ago. It was a touring production of Phantom of the Opera at Boston's Wang Center in 1992 when he was only 7 years old. He said his top 3 favorite musicals are number 3, Ragtime, 2, Dreamgirls, and his number 1 favorite is Rent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And are we going to be seeing Alexissant on the tread, John? I'm not sure, but he posted on his Instagram on Thursday that he is stepping up his running game, and he thanked Puma for his new running shoes. So was that just a tease for us? Was that another, Cody who went out running with Robin and made it very clear that he wasn't going to be on the tread? But Alex did say in his IG that, I will share more later, but he didn't say much than the fact that he promoted these new Puma shoes that he had received at his front door. So
I'd say there was a much better chance of Alex teaching on the tread than Cody. Cody's been very adamant, and he's even responded in classes and pre-shows saying, don't get it twisted. Just because I'm posting running with Camilla at a park in Brooklyn, this is not an indication I'm going to be in the tread studio teaching any kind of tread related activity. So yeah, not happening, but it sounds like Alex, he's teasing something. So it sounds like it's more than just a partnership with Puma.
Right. That's what I think. I mean, Cody, as we said, was explicit about not being on the tread. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And then lastly, for Instructor in the news, I know for this next, but there are going to be lots and lots of members that are going to have a smile on their face. But we are finally going to be seeing our beautiful English Queen back on the platform. Leanne will be back on the schedule starting live next Wednesday at the very wee hours of the morning at 2:30 a.m. for her weekly Wednesday ride. And you better believe it that I will be there. She has recorded some material in studio, coach to camera. And this coming Sunday, today, her classes are new material. So there's new classes today. There's new classes on Monday that are being dropped. So make sure you catch those if you hadn't. But, after the past 6 weeks, which I can only imagine have been so hard, it's wonderful that we are going to get her back on the platform, and everybody is very excited. And we know that she is going to have tons of hands on her back. And, you bet you're going to be, you're going to be hearing a lot about it from me. I mean, I have missed it. And it's, John, it's interesting though, because, other than Benny, she's really drawn. I mean, she is my go-to. And it was crazy for me to see how my numbers have dropped in my cycling because she hasn't been there, for me to ride with. So, which I'm okay with because I've really enjoyed being on the tread more. And as I said, I started doing strength. So it has given me, again, I'm always glass half full. So I took it as a positive all right, I'm utilizing the time that I don't have to be on the bike with Leanne to start my strength training, to up my yoga game, which I'm very proud to say I am doing really nicely with. And then, being on the tread. So I'm looking forward very much to having her back and getting back into routine with her and her schedule. And then, please God, riding live with her in November when I am back in London. So I wanted to share that with you folks as well, because I have been getting my DMs are daily that people will send me asking if I know when she's coming back. So to be able to share with you guys that it will be live at 2:30 a.m. British Standard Time, summertime, and 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
Eastern time,
Eastern Time, and 7:30
United States time.
British summertime. So and
awesome.
Then, John, I think let's move it right along and talk about the picks of the week.
I will kick it off. I'll kick it off because this first one up is one of mine. Daniel McKenna's 45-minute full body tread boot camp from Thursday the 14th. This was his first live class back after he had been, off the platform for a while, recovering from, was it a rotator cuff injury?
I want to say. So. Yeah.
That he was sidelined for a while. It felt like a couple months. It very well could have been. This was my first live, if not my first boot camp with him, but live. I did it live because I've heard so much of, so many good things about him. And I've really been wanting to get into working out with him live. So obviously had to wait for him to come back. But this one was also submitted by Spin Loving Mama, Happy Christy, KLF 0413, and Dina Lucille. Lot of feedback that they gave on this one. They said, don't miss Daniel's comeback tread boot camp. His joy at being back coaching was infectious. I did it on my bike as I don't have a tread and loved it. The energy, the music, his pure joy and excitement was unmatched. The community showed up big time for that class, and it was such an incredible feeling. It got me running faster than I've ever ran in my entire life. I'm a 3-time heart attack survivor, and I had just seen my cardiologist that day for my yearly checkup. She told me that I am healthy and strong, and it gave me confidence to send it, which is one of Daniel's. He loves to say that. On the last sprint, it was a feeling that I can't describe. Daniel's energy and love for his job and gratitude for his community, combined with my confidence from my doctor's words, made the class the most amazing class I've ever taken to date. And I agree wholeheartedly with those comments and sentiments. He was so fired up, and I mean, he's already got a lot of energy, but he was just so excited to be back from pre-show all the way to the very ending. I mean, his energy level was so consistently high the entire time. And I was going balls out on the tread and on the floor for the sections, and even those final sprints in the last tread section. And I could tell he was right there at the same level, working just as hard, doing the numbers that he was calling out, because, I could really tell that he was putting in the effort as well. That just gave me that energy to do it as well. And I think I got a PR on it, but it was just interesting. Like I felt so fired up the whole time. You know, a lot of times on boot camps, like with Adrian, I might get so worn out after the tread section when we transition to the floor. Like I'm so gassed. I'm trying to catch my breath and get my composure that I fall behind on the strength. But with Daniel, the energy, there was just something about him and how fired up he was that just kept me at the same energy level the whole time, that I didn't feel like worn down when we transitioned back to the tread or back to the floor. And I'm going to be doing his live Thursday boot camp. I've decided that's going to be like my live Thursday boot camp. So I'm sorry, apologies to Jen Sherman. You know, I used to always ride with her live, you know, Thursdays around 5 p.m. But I've got to stick with Daniel now. And so I'm definitely going to be doing more boot camps. I highly recommend him for anyone who hasn't tried a class or a boot camp with him. A great class.
Wow. I guess I got to try that one now. I mean, I've only done a couple strength classes with him. I haven't been on the tread with him. I haven't run with him. So, that was an endorsement if I'd ever heard one. I hope somebody from the Irish Yanks is listening to this.
And my friend Nicole, the hater, she loves Daniel, swears by him. And, you know, she loves Ben for the bike, but she is all about Daniel for boot camp and strength. So I'm sorry I didn't get on the Daniel Irish Yanks train sooner, but I'm glad that I finally got my act together and got on that boot camp.
Well, I got to tell you, John, I was fortunate enough to have met the admins of the Irish Yanks admin group when I was in the studio last week, and I want to have a quick look and see if I can.
I met one of them at the Boo Crew party Saturday night.
Yeah, she said she met you.
Oh, okay, she has red hair.
It's Christy. It's
Christy. Okay.
It's yeah. But you know, I got to tell you, Christine, I'm sorry.
Christine.
Or Kristen. No, apologies. It's Kristen. But they have almost 20,000 members in that group. Is that insane?
Impressive.
Very impressive. I mean, he's been around for, how long has he been around for?
Not even
18
a year.
Months. Yeah.
No, I don't even think has it been a full year yet?
I don't even know if it's been a full year, to be honest with you.
But I love the fact he's got very animated, funny pre-shows, and they have a YouTube channel for the Irish Yanks that they just post the pre-show for every one of his classes, strength and tread. August 27th, so it'll be a year next month that he joined Peloton. But people that are into him love him, and I can see why.
Absolutely love him. And I mean, it's amazing, and kudos to them. And, he's very responsive with them as well. Really responsive, kind of like how, John is with, Club Husky, but it's great. All right, moving on. We're getting pushed here to move on. All right, I'll go ahead and take this. Next class is Cliff Dwenger's 30-minute Lizzo ride. It was in German from the 15th. Brooklyn 995212 said, even with subtitles, or it must be even without subtitles, Lizzo is still amazing. So that was, with subtitles, with German. Let's see what it's saying here. I'm not seeing with German. Okay. So I guess there must have been subtitles in there, but apparently it was an amazing ride, and that was Cliff's. And then I'm going to do the next one because it was mine. I don't work out with Jess King enough. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do an in-studio workout with her. And I think this is where the studio is going to play such a pivotal role in so many members' experiences. Because I think when you're live with somebody in the studio, you'll really get to know them a little bit differently than if you're just seeing them behind the camera. And I had gotten into Jess's 20-minute hike. It was from 9:30 a.m. on Friday. This is the 15th. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The structure of how she did the hike was fantastic. And, she will definitely become more of a regular. More so, I think, on the tread than on the bike for whatever reason. But really, really liked it and had to give a shout out to that one.
Nice. And we've already talked about it in detail, but a lot of folks submitted Robin Jess's 30-minute Lizzo 2-for-1 ride from the 15th. That was submitted by Maria Kay, Ms. Jess Sims. Did I say the wrong name?
Jess King. Maybe.
Oh, did I say Jess King?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, Jess Sims, Robin and Jess's. Ms. Jenke, Gina Bean, Joe Thornton, Dippin' 22, Spin for Spritz, ML Borsch, The Girl Who Spins, Leah Seychelles, K for
Seychelles.
Awesome.
Leah Seychelles.
Leah Seychelles.
It's an island off the coast of Africa.
Seychelles. Ellen K. Nolan and Mamacita 64. I mean, what more can you say about that ride? So
nothing.
I'm sure
it was amazing.
Yeah. And then next one's yours.
Next couple are mine. So let me shoot. Okay. And again, I mean, these were all no, actually this one wasn't. So Benny Adami's 20-minute Schläger ride. It was also a live member ride in the UK. So for the German community in the UK. And no, it's no secret how I feel about Benny. I mean, the guy puts every last ounce of his heart into a ride. But this ride, and I know you did it live, I wasn't able to do it live, but it was fan-frigging-tastic. And if there is one German ride that English-speaking people want to try, this is the one to do. He had such energy and such animation and love for John Pruitt, but that's just besides the point. It was absolutely fantastic and highly, highly recommended. I mean, I had it on my stories because I don't want anyone to miss that ride. It was fantastic. Next up, Mariana Fernandez. She's my new yoga soulmate. What a gem of a personality. Her 30-minute Lizzo yoga flow from Friday was fantastic. She has something that she does, and I did her yoga this past week again on Thursday. She does this shimmy in her class, and she's so cute about it. She exudes energy and positivity and warmth and was just fantastic. So besides being, part of the artist series, I am just absolutely in love with Mariana, and she is a new favorite. Aditi, I love you, and you are still my favorite, but you're going to share the spot. You're sharing the spot. And then I got to tell you, Dennis Morton. God, John, he is one very good-looking man.
Daddy Morton.
And sitting right there in front of him. I mean, 30-minute Fresh Friday. So never done a Fresh Friday. The music was not music that I would typically have ridden to. It was a mix of different types of music. Being in the studio for a cycling ride was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, by now everybody knows I was right in the front there. I had a Cheshire Cat grin on my face from start to finish. I got called out by Fit Mom Erica for, being the crazy chick in the front of the studio that just had a party on the bike. And I did, because the energy in the room. Dennis's was his first live ride with members, and he was a little nervous. I mean, when he walked in, there was no question that there was some nerves going. He was, just was different. But he is fantastic. And, I used to ride with him a lot for low impact type things. I would use him, as a part of a stack, and from that perspective, cool downs and warm ups. But no question, he is added into the roster for me. So yeah, those were my three there. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice. Well, I'll take the next couple. So we have Marcel Dinkins, 45-minute walk plus run from the 16th of July. That was submitted by Ben Sarah. They said outstanding coaching on run technique and skills. Next one is one of mine, Alex's 30-minute club bangers from Saturday the 16th. Super ratchet, really kind of the kind of club bangers that I love, the explicitness of it. So if you see that rating, it's extra explicit at the end of the feedback there. If you have that question, But Alex, he always makes me work the hardest out of all the cycling instructors. So there's just something about him. Like he's just fired up right out of the gate. The warm up is like, he's going full blast from the get-go. So that was a real good one. That's usually my Saturdays, Alex Club Banger Saturday afternoons.
Well, for Sundays, Pizza Eating Champ and again, Ben Sarah loved Kirsten Ferguson's 45-minute hike. It was from Sunday the 17th, 8:30 a.m. And they said all of her intention-setting Sunday classes are so motivating. This one had us hiking to heaven, honey. Everyone should try at least once. And then, 45-minute yacht rock ride with Jen Sherman. That was from also the 17th at 9:30. Pommy Mommy One said this was the return of Jen's yacht rock series.
Yeah, there was no Steely Dan, which was a nice surprise because I'm not a huge Steely Dan fan, but a lot of folks like the Dan for yacht rock, especially. No John Mayer on that one either. But hopefully she'll be getting some John Mayer sob rock.
Hence you're not adding to it as a pick of the week because it didn't have your John Mayer in there.
It's still a great ride. A lot of folks are very divided about yacht rock, especially my friend Nicole. She hates it. She stays away from it. But it's a vibe. It's a summer vibe. I like it. It's different. I like it as one of her different artist series that she does in the summertime. All right, Camila Ramon. 30-minute reggaeton ride. This was submitted by Jackie, Plant-Powered Mom, Karen Zemsky-Berry, the Twins mom. They said she's motivating, gives you music to move to, and puts a smile on your face. I find myself taking more and more of her classes. And then Jermaine Johnson's 30-minute 90s run from the 18th. This was submitted by Queen Cheese. They said quintessential 90s tunes, so fun. And then I'll take one more. Matt Wilper's 45-minute 90s run from the 19th. That was submitted by Carleen Runs, Minnesota Trisha, MN Trisha, Sugar Deep Thighs. Excellent playlist and overall good vibes.
Awesome. And then we actually had a pick of the week on that new Hannah and Ally Build Your Barre collection. From the 19th, 10 a.m. It was submitted by Maddie, and they specifically recommended the 10-minute upper body with weights with Hannah Corbin. Basically, they said, I didn't think that I could sweat so much. So clearly those bar workouts work. And then the next one is mine. I am in good company with Endure Outlast, Rebecca Kennedy's 45-minute hiking boot camp. And I was so fun to see you on there, John, live, and that you got it, not Jax. But
she's got it next week.
I absolutely loved it. Firstly, I loved that it was 45 minutes. It was the only workout that I ended up doing on Wednesday. And we've said it before. The structure of those classes, the fact that she gets you to push yourself to a level, and I'm going to call myself out on this one. It's almost eerie how you think that the instructors actually see you. But there was one point we were at maximum incline with power walking.
With the rails.
And she looked straight at me and she said, take your damn hands off the bars. And I'm like,
off the railing.
How does she know that I'm doing that?
And I was holding on too. Yeah.
Were you also? But isn't that so bizarre? That it was literally, I had just put my hands on because I was like, I am dying. The sweat was pouring. I was like puffing and puffing. And I almost like looked around my gym to say like, is there a camera in here? Am I like on candid camera? Because she caught me red-handed. So I'm calling myself out on that. But it was a fantastic workout. I loved the floor exercises. Those elevator squats are my favorite. I know she said people hate them. Yeah. I love them. I think they're fantastic. I struggled a little bit with the push-ups on the floor with the one arm, push-up. I couldn't even know what she called it. That was a little bit of a struggle for me, but everything else, absolutely fantastic hike. And then boot camp, I should say. And then Tobias Heinz, German run tread instructor, was recommended by Special K 0455 for his 30-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber run, which was on the 20th. They said, I couldn't understand a word he said because it was in German, but the joy on his face during the entire run said it all. I ran on my own cues and tried to follow a visual pace. The music gave me chills. Bravo. And that just goes to what you and I say all the time, John. It doesn't really matter if you understand or don't understand. It's that you can just sense the energy from the instructors. So I'm so pleased that so many more people are trying out these German instructors.
Yeah, you can still make a connection in so many other ways, just with the way their personality shines through and the music, and you can get a sense of their speed, their cadence, if you watch the pedaling or the movement, if they're on the tread. So you could still manage, and you could still make it a good experience.
Correct. And I think, I'll shout you and I out here, but I think that the fact that we've taken that ability to try them and have fallen in love with so many, whether it be Jeffrey McKeechin on the tread, now Tobias Heinz, Benny, etc. More and more people are trying them. So, yes, you're welcome, Peloton, that we are getting your German instructors quite active with not only our picks of the week, but with John and I promoting them. In that, I think people are really, I'm getting fantastic DMs from people saying, thank you, and please don't stop recommending, because we really are enjoying the German instructors. I'm so excited about that.
Because let's face it, they don't get as much love. They don't get enough love that the English speaking instructors get, especially in New York and London. So it's really great. We can, promote them and share, our experiences, how much we love their classes. And I know they appreciate it, because it's hard for them. They're trying to build their following and their brand. So, every little bit of praise that we can put out there, it can help them and go a long way.
Well, I think my goal is to really try each one of them, each week with something, and see if we can try and, give them a shout out here on the show, because I've been so impressed with whomever I've tried, whoever I've worked out with. Yeah,
for sure. All right, couple more.
All right,
Sammyo's 30-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber ride from the 20th. This was submitted by Hada. He makes a Broadway class challenging and fun, and I always PR. And then the last one's Maddie's 30-minute Andrew Lloyd Webber walk from the 20th. That was submitted by Andy Botticelli. And they said Maddie brought the energy with classic Broadway showstoppers from Cats, Evita, Phantom, Jesus Christ Superstar, and more.
Awesome picks of the week this week. I think there were some great choices that people had
something
submitted.
for everyone.
Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, there really was. There really was. Well, I guess, John, that pretty much sums it up, wraps it up. So, I guess that's the end of the show.
That's it.
Another week, tons of info, tons of stuff to share with you guys. Thank you. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for the support that we've been getting, and for the lovely comments that people have been saying. As John said, and I read out the review, let us know what we're doing, and tell your friends about us. I think I said in the live with Chris, I was surprised that there was still a handful of people that didn't know about Pelo Buddy, and they, of course, all joined as we were sitting there, as I watched over their shoulders and said, make sure you join Pelo Buddy so you know what's going on. But share it with your friends, because we hope, and again, not even just for the podcast and the YouTube, but also for the amazing information that Chris constantly keeps up to date. And being with him for the day, John, I got to see it's hard work keeping up with what's going on. I mean, the fact that there's constantly news coming in, and Chris is there with it. I mean, there is just no question that he is constantly on top of getting that news out to everybody. So yeah, Chris, I'm giving you a huge shout out for the amazing job that you've done. And, as I said, he didn't like it, John, but I told everybody that he was my boss. I said, I'm just the face. John and I are just the faces. And
the boss that doesn't pay you.
Exactly. My boss that doesn't pay me, but it's all good. It's all in good faith. It's all in good faith and fun. And it was just amazing to see the response that we got from the instructors that we told we were with Pelo Buddy, and everybody other than Robin Arzon, who didn't seem to give a damn. But everybody else was very excited.
Ouch.
Yeah, she kind of didn't. But Jess Sims was very happy. And she told me to tell you hello. She said, tell my John Pruitt hello. So that was really sweet. Oh. She did. She literally did.
That's
I
nice.
went up to her and I said, I'm Amanda Siegel. I'm Segler 3. I'm the face of Pelo Buddy. She was, oh my God, seriously? I said, yeah, me and John. And she was like, oh my God, tell John hi. So that was very cute. That was very cute. And Robin was like, yeah, whatever. But everybody else was very excited. Even Dennis, I have to say, even Dennis had a little smile when I told him that I was, with Pelo Buddy. And then, of course, Chris and I were right next to each other. So he was meeting both of us. And he also said, thank you very much for everything that you do. So it was very appreciative. I was very appreciative of their appreciativeness or whatever. We're going to say goodbye. Thanks everybody for watching and tuning in for yet another week from me here in Maryland. Bye for now, everybody.
And for me here in Michigan, always appreciate you tuning in and watching, listening to us. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.